just so, just don't lie to me. I don't like Donald Trump. Don't lie to me and tell me he wants in front of a firing squad. He was saying something that, by the way, if it came out of the mouth, some of it, not the stupid part, again, sounds like what hippies used to say about Bill, not sending people to...
So the media hoax around Donald Trump allegedly wanting to shoot Liz Cheney was so ridiculously egregious that even Bill Maher went on a tirade, absolutely calling it out. And the funny thing is, a lot of the characters in the MSM are already starting to walk back their comments. Yesterday, we did a video on how one guy who was on CNN had to issue a formal retraction. But the thing is, they know exactly what they did, right? Here's the thing. A lot more people see the initial headline than actually read the article, much less follow up to read the retraction. So they know they're going to put out last minute before Americans really have the time to verify right before the election. Look what Donald Trump said. Okay, you voted. Oh, wait, here's what he really said, right? But nonetheless, we'll show you that here today. So folks, do us a big favor. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And why should you subscribe? Because that way we can keep bringing you these videos. We will be live on election night. Gonna be a very big, very exciting, very professional stream. So be sure to stay tuned in. And the only way to do that is to hit that red button and make sure your notifications are on. And with that said, here's what Bill Maher had to say about the Liz Cheney hoax.
I woke up today to the headline that Trump had called for a firing squad for Liz Cheney. And this is what I really don't like about the media. No, he didn't.
He did not.
You don't have to move me to not like Donald Trump.
He says
more
so
than
many things. Why do you have to do that?
And by the way, if you don't realize it, well, here's what he said. He's criticizing him for being a war hawk. Yeah. I mean, she is Dick Cheney's daughter. He said, she's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay. Let's see how she feels about it. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, we'll send tens of thousands of troops right into the mouth of the enemy. Now, of course, he expresses himself horribly. He has to add, she's a stupid person because he's a moron.
Trump knows what it's really like from Vietnam.
I mean, you can stand there and say that, but the point is completely true. Hey, liberals, remember when you said these very things about the Cheney family during the Iraq war? By the way, rightfully so. Okay, I think the chicken hawk argument is completely valid. Some people say it's a bumper sticker. Well, that's an easy way to write it off when it's not you or your kids being sent to the war, right? So,
just to be clear, this is exactly what hippies always said. This is exactly what peaceniks always said. This is Fortunate Son, the song. It's like, you know what? It's very easy to sit in your building and send young men to die. True. Apropos of Ukraine, because, I don't know, that war doesn't look like it's going in the right direction.
Not at all, no.
But just so, just don't lie to me. I don't like Donald Trump. Don't lie to me and tell me he wants in front of a firing squad. He was saying something that, by the way, if it came out of the mouth, some of it, not the stupid part, again, sounds like what hippies used to say about
Bill,
not sending people to, yes.
Well, first of all, hippies said a lot worse than that the Cheney family is stupid. They said that they were war criminals, that they should stand trial at The Hague, which by the way, I totally understand where they're coming from. I grew up in Southern California, which is sort of, I think LA actually was the site of the biggest anti-war protest in history. And it was actually people protesting against the Iraq war in 2003. I grew up around that culture of being anti-war, and to a large degree, I still sympathize with it, right? I think it's a big reason why I eventually, when I was in high school, came around to Donald Trump, because I heard the things he campaigned on. That was what he was all about. I did not sympathize a lot with the pre-Bush Republican Party. I still don't see what I would have ever had in common with them. But yeah, as Bill Maher says, just don't lie to me, right? Don't tell me lies. The only issue, perhaps, is that the entire Kamala campaign is based on lies. What would they have without lies? By telling things that are truthful, what would the Kamala campaign be based on? Can't be energy policy. In fact, it can't be any of Kamala's policies, because she was very radical left back in 2020, and then she came around now and said she never supported any of those things. Okay, but my values haven't changed, but something. Okay, so it can't be based on policy. It can't be based on Donald Trump either. because the orange man bad talking points revolve around what? Charlottesville, which is a hoax. Okay, they still are saying that to this day. It's funny how they buried that for a few years and then out of desperation, they bring it back. They're calling him Hitler, which is blatantly untrue. And now they're doing this Liz Cheney thing. That's the issue. That's exactly why the Kamala campaign has to lie, because they have nothing else to run on. But with that said, take a listen now as Bill Maher also goes on to criticize the Joe Biden garbage comments. And it seems to me he kind of sees how the Democrats are screwing this up in the final stages. It's funny. Tim Walz keeps making the analogy that because I was a football coach, so we have the ball, we're driving down the field, it's tied in the fourth quarter. Well, in that case, Joe Biden probably was your quarterback and just threw a pick six with the garbage comment. Take a listen.
What happened this week with the garbage? Now, the result could be Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania win this election for Harris. Right? That's possible. You're doing this.
Possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Or it could be the other way because, I mean, I think it's a bigger gaffe than people think. It's so funny. Joe Biden, his whole career, he was like Mr. Gaff. And then here at the very end, he's like Aaron Judge in Game 6. he fucking muffed the fly ball and at the end of the thing and blew the whole... Yeah. So, because I feel like it epitomizes everything that the Trump people hate about the Democrats. Yes. They look down on us. It's like deplorables times 10.
Bitter clingers, that whole thing too that Obama said. No, I mean, this is
yeah, and it's more straightforward than deplorables, by the way. And it was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly. I think Hillary made the deplorable comment in like September, right? Here's Joe Biden a week before the election, totally erasing the entire Puerto Rico controversy by saying something himself that was probably worse.
An unbelievable own goal, and to have this argument about where the apostrophe is, who is he referring to? It's clear what he was referring to, and obviously they're running away from this. But yeah, I mean, when you talk to Trump voters, and I've spent far too much time of my life doing so, is that the assumption is that the media hates you, the elites hate you, they think that you're garbage, and they
true statements, all true statements, by the way, they do.
They think that you're bitter clingers, and they think that all these things. And any sort of hint of that seems to prove that is just not a net positive for Democrats. I don't think it's very, very difficult to point that out. But yeah, no, that's a bad thing for them.
I don't know if it's a net positive, but having the elderly president give like a marble-mouthed answer, yielding, and elderly competitor dressing up as like a Oompa Loompa garbage man sex doll, that's kind of a wash for me. I don't know. Like, is it a huge win for Trump? Like, to go out there on stage, like, dressed up like in his dad's dumpster truck outfit? I don't know. Like, I hear what you're saying. It was a gap. It was dumb. But I don't know if Trump took advantage of it as much as some people might want to think.
Okay.
I mean, the garbage truck thing was objectively funny. Okay, you guys are just coping about that. But no, you can make the argument that at this point, the election is decided, not in the sense that people have voted, but in the sense that most people have made up their minds. And how much is that really going to shift the votes? That's totally fine. But at the same time, you would have to also make the argument that the Puerto Rican garbage comment, hence, again, if everyone's already made up their minds, they already know who they're going to vote for, that's not going to change a whole lot of minds either. So you got to play that both ways. What I will say, though, I don't think it's an issue of some undecided voter out there hears Joe Biden say garbage and decides, okay, you know what, I've had enough, I'm voting for Trump. Maybe that happens somewhere in the middle of America, but I would not count on that. What I can say it does, and this is so important, is it galvanizes the Trump base to make sure they go to the polls, right? Because this election is going to come down to turnout. Republicans have this issue that a lot of our voters nowadays are low propensity, right? We didn't show up a lot in 2022. We didn't show up at all in most of these special elections that have happened over the course of the Biden presidency. So, you know, you're in an issue where you need to make sure people are energized, make sure they're actually showing up to vote, not just saying they support Trump or liking a post on social media. Well, there's no better inspiration you can give to those low propensity propensity Trump supporters in the last few days of the election than to say that they are garbage, right? That's the prime way to just, ignite them, perhaps. And before you want to disregard what I'm saying, I think the at least strategic people on the Democrat side also understand this. That's why they're running the Liz Cheney scandal. Right? Because their hope is that perhaps low propensity Democrat voters who probably are like older suburbanites, maybe middle-aged, although that's not in general a very low propensity voting group, but everyone, some people don't vote, whatever, that can galvanize them. Oh, outrage over Trump. Look what he said about this. Look what he said about that. Why did they ramp that up so much more in the month of October? Why did they make the big thing out of the Puerto Rican comment? Because they too are not necessarily hoping to change people's minds. They're hoping that the low propensity people on their side will show up to vote. And that's what this type of stuff does. So I wouldn't downplay it. I think it will do something, not in the matter that it's going to change people's minds, but that outside of the little media bubble here, there's a lot of people across the country who somewhat pay attention to politics, but they don't care a whole lot, right? They're sort of like half plugged in, maybe 25%. And on the Trump side, I think it'll do something for us in terms of turnout. Will it make the big difference? Who knows? We'll see about that, right? But someone out there probably was a low propensity voter. They supported Trump, but were they going to make it to the polls on election day? Maybe, maybe not. This just increased their chances of doing so. Okay, so that's how it works. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Bill Maher, just sounding the panic button. He doesn't really like the way the Democrats are handling the rhetoric in the last days of this campaign. Doesn't sound like he's the only one. We'll see how it goes. Okay, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. And by the way, going to start advertising it. Join us live on election night. We should be live sometime around 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will bring you right here on this channel. You don't have to watch CNN. You don't have to watch Fox News. Okay, drop the cable, go to the independent media. We'll bring you all the live race calls, analysis, breakdowns by county, breakdowns by state. Everything you need to know will be on our own election live stream, so tune in. And until next time, God bless and peace.